Let's take a look at a problem from Chapter 5. In this particular one, we are looking at a probability distribution to start off with, and we're given information about a baseball player who's had a certain number of hits per game and the probability of each of those happening. So we're going to open that data set in StatCrunch. The first thing it wants us to do is determine the mean. Now, this problem can be done manually, or you can use a really nice tool in StatCrunch, which allows us to basically tell the software to do a formula for us. So we're going to click Compute Expression, and we're going to click Build. And for the first one, for example, for the mean, we just need to have the sum. So we're going to click Add the function of x times p of x. So we're going to click OK and click Compute, and in the problem appears the mean, 1.5235. Now, the second part of the problem, to compute the standard deviation, takes a little more effort. First of all, keep in mind that you can program this in pieces if you want, or you can do this kind of all at one time. So we're going to be ambitious. We're going to try to do this all at one time. So we're going to find the square root function. And inside that square root, we're going to have the sum of x squared times p of x. Okay, then we're going to be very careful to click in here, like move away from the first parentheses, minus the mean, which was the sum of x times p of x column, minus the mean squared. So it's the square root of the sum of x squared times p of x minus the mean squared. So we're going to click OK and compute, and we now have our standard deviation. So we can go back to the problem and enter in our mean and standard deviation. So our mean was 1.5, and the standard deviation, as they asked us to round to one decimal place, was 0.9. Okay? Now, keep in mind when you do this that you might want to go into your software here and take a look at what's called the history. So notice here, I'm going to click the down button again, and you can see that you programmed those two formulas in. So you can save that for the following time that you have to work through the same problem, not have to kind of reprogram everything all again. Okay? That's one type of problem you're going to see in Chapter 5. Another type of problem is, of course, your binomial distribution. And in a binomial distribution problem, you are going to be given a chance of success, the number of trials, and asked to determine the chance of a certain number of successes occurring. So here's one that hits near and dear for many students. You are unprepared for a surprise true-false test. It has 12 questions, and you guess on everything. So you want to find the mean and the standard deviation, first of all, for the number of correct answers for such students. Well, the mean is found by taking n times p. So the number of test questions is 12. The chance of success is 50%. And so therefore your mean, your expected number, would be 6. Your standard deviation would be the square root of n times p times q. So that would be found by taking the square root of 12 times 0.5 times another 0.5, which of course gives us 3, and the square root of 3, take your time punching your calculator, is going to be 1.73. So then you can use that to answer the question. This particular problem does not require the use of StatCrunch at all. Now, this particular problem, the third one that we're looking at here, does require the use of StatCrunch. This one is a procedure with a binomial distribution, and they want us to determine the number of successes. So we're going to open up StatCrunch, and we're going to use the calculator option for the binomial distribution. Now, again, our chances of success is 60%, number of trials is 8, and we want to know the chance of 3. So we're going to go to our software, we're going to enter 8, 60%, and we want to know exactly the chance of 3. Be careful that you choose the proper value in the drop-down menu, and it's already computed it for us. It's about 12.39%. So again, you can log back in here. It says round to 3 decimal places, so we're going to put 0.124. Okay, great tool, easy to use. Now, another type of question that we could see here would be what's known as a Poisson distribution. So we're going to load one of those questions as well and take a look at how to do that very quickly and easily in StatCrunch. In a Poisson distribution, you're not given the chance of success. You're given the mean or the average number of events. So here's one. It says, given that x is a Poisson distribution with the average of 0.6, what's the probability that x would equal 4? Okay, now, on these particular problems, you are going to have to go directly to StatCrunch.com. They are not linked with this particular homework set. So just keep in mind that we're going to go to StatCrunch.com, click to open. And again, we're just going to go in there and we're going to open up our calculator. This time we're going to hit Poisson. We're going to tell it that the mean was 0.6, but we wanted to know the chance that it was exactly 4. We're going to click compute. And then we know that the chance of that happening is very, very small, 0.00296. Okay, that's all. Hope that was helpful.